Griffin Johnson just dropped a diss track about his ex, Dixie D'Amelio, the same day that the remix of her song Be Happy dropped. Here's everything we know. I'm Gabi Conti.
I'm Kaylana.
I'm Jana Rosenberg, and this is the Hollywire Tea Party, where we are talking about all of the hottest tea. Today, like Gabi said, it's Griffin Johnson's diss track. So it's been months since Dixie D'Amelio and Griffin Johnson have split after allegations and proof that Griffin was cheating on Dixie. But months later, there's still drama brewing between these two former lovers. Most recently, Dixie has appeared to have moved on with Noah Beck, Griffin's Sway LA brother, while the two have denied their relationship time and time again, saying they're just a couple of besties. They recently shared a kiss in Dixie's new music video for the remix of her song Be Happy. Griffin told Hollywire's paparazzi that he didn't even see the kiss, as he'd just been posting and dipping on social media. But the same day this music video aired with her kissing Noah, his diss track premiered. There was a lot of shade thrown at Dixie D'Amelio and Noah Beck in his diss track called Convenient. So I just have to get this out there. Like, this blew my mind and opened my eyes to a whole new side of this story that we haven't heard. And you guys should all know by now, if you've been watching Hollywire News, where I and even Gabi stand on this, like, even if you send a Snapchat that's inappropriate or whatever, like, that's cheating to me. However, I feel like we haven't taken a step back to think about what was their relationship like between, like, was Dixie as involved and in love or whatever it was as Griffin was maybe with her? Maybe Griffin was feeling insecure in their relationship, because after listening to this diss track, I was just like, wow, like, I feel like there was a lot about their relationship that we didn't know, obviously, but even take into account, you know?
Well, yeah, right. A lot about the relationship, as well as a lot of shade thrown at Dixie, kind of implying that Dixie is still in touch with Griffin up until when this song was dropped, as well as some shade at Noah, which is interesting because Noah and Griffin were just spotted working out today with the rest of the Sway Boys. So
that is interesting to me too. I'm like, that makes me feel like kind of weird about, but look, this was a Dixie diss track. It wasn't really any diss at Noah. Like, maybe again, him and Noah have talked behind closed doors.
Oh no, he called Noah a word that's actually really not nice. I forget what it was.
A jit.
A jit. Yeah. Right.
Oh, I was wondering what that was. What does that even mean?
It's like he's a child, like calling him like an incompetent, like, joke of a child. Like, so he's there. There's also definitely shade out to Noah in this track, as well as Dixie.
Okay, dang. But then they're working out together. So once again, the TikTok community is confused here. So yeah, I don't know. That's crazy, but maybe, I don't know. I just, when he said, also, we're going to obviously get more into the details of this diss track, but when he said, you sent me a text while I'm writing this song in the studio, I was like, what?
Kaylana, what do you think about this song? We would love to hear your take on this.
I just think it's like crazy. I totally agree with Jana about, what was the relationship like? I think it definitely like leaves room and like questioning for fans and like everyone to start, okay, like, we've heard her side of it, but what about his side as well? Not necessarily saying like the cheating and like the receipts and everything, that's okay, but like there someone isn't saying something, I feel like there's something more that needs to be said by Griffin.
Yeah. Well, yeah, like maybe something more, but at the same time, I feel like he just said a lot in that diss track.
I don't know. Like, I feel like, okay, like, I feel like he said like a lot about Dixie, but it's not really like, I don't know. Like, he said a lot, but nothing at the same time,
Well, and also, I want to call Griffin out here because there's absolutely no way that he did not see the kiss between Dixie and Noah. There's like no way. Like, that is, I mean, obviously he was trying to appear cool as he was leaving the Saddle Ranch, and Hollywire, we have a paparazzi. The paparazzi got him saying that on camera. I mean, I don't believe it for 1 second. I think you could not avoid that. I'm pretty sure Griffin does check TikTok room a lot, which obviously there was a big post about that. I mean, this was all over the TikTok community. There's no way that Griffin was completely out of the loop about it. And, and the timing too of this is so interesting because he was obviously working on this track, I would want to say around the time that that Dixie and Noah were hanging out together, and the fact that he released it on the same day as Dixie drops her highly anticipated music video. I mean, of course he's aware of what's going on. That we're calling him out. That is definitely a lie right there.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, the whole title of the song, Convenient, I'm like, I don't know, like that kind of bothers me. Like again, yes, there's a part of this relationship obviously that we might not know about, but I'm like, I mean, was it convenient to you to be inappropriately Snapchatting other girls to come out to LA when you have this amazing girl and star by your side? I just don't feel like that was like super convenient of you. You know what I mean? So I don't know, but
and
yeah,
the release of this track was convenient, right? The timing.
Very convenient. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's weird. For the first time, I mean, I feel like sitting in the position I am, like delivering this to, you know, all the Hollywire fans, it's like, we should all have such a strict opinion about this. But I have to say, I've always been so team Dixie. And now after hearing this, whilst I will call out Griffin, as you just did, Gabi, for the paparazzi saying, no, he didn't like see the kiss. That's obviously BS. I'm sorry. I just think that's BS as well. But also like, I feel for him a little because it's like, you know, what if there just aren't things that the world doesn't know? And we're always so quick to pick a side. So yeah, I'm kind of like mixed up here in a way, but let's keep it moving. Let's get to the details.
Yeah, so I mean, Griffin really, this is Griffin's first time really saying his side of the story, if you could even call it a side of the story. And before Griffin even dropped his diss track, he teased it, saying that he was up to something by tweeting, quote, "Time to spice things up," followed by "You're welcome in advance." Then a few hours later, Griffin dropped the track, which opens up with him singing, "I'm not here to say I'm sorry," which is likely referencing how he was teasing for a while that he would apologize to Dixie for the cheating allegations, which he never did, but he did promote his YouTube channel. The song goes on to say that apparently Griffin never cheated on Dixie, and Dixie was the one who didn't want Griffin, but he's not trying to win her back, and apparently the whole thing was taken out of context, and now, quote, his heart's in the comments.
What does that mean?
I think it means that everyone is in the comment section kind of like making fun of Griffin. I mean, even right now, as we just went live with this, a lot of you immediately said that you don't care about this, that you think Griffin's diss track sucked. Like, we have a bunch of Griffin haters, I think, watching Hollywire and in the comments. And obviously, anytime also TikTok Room posts anything about him, I think comments are quick to also kind of drag him. So perhaps that's what he's referring to.
I just personally, like, I understand, you know, him saying like everything got taken out of context, but at the same time, there's like proof of you cheating. Like, I don't know how you take screenshots out of context. I don't know how you take you saying you're gonna fly girls out to LA out of context. But
well, I agree with you on that. But the one thing that I think the song hints at is that perhaps this cheating was mutual. So perhaps it wasn't just Griffin who was talking to other girls. I mean, I almost would argue that when Griffin has the line saying that, you know, oh, you say you and Noah are just friends, but you're wearing his clothes, I'm starting to wonder, do you think the relationship with Dixie and Noah, whatever it is, was starting while Dixie was still officially with Griffin? And perhaps that is what he's shading Dixie about.
I don't know, because even then he's still really good friends with Noah. So why isn't it, you know, going both ways? Why aren't you upset with him as well? I don't know.
I feel like, look, so the Sway Boys formed, they became super famous, everyone fell in love with him, and then this new kid out of nowhere popped up, Noah Beck, took over the internet, took over every girl's heart that's ever looked in his direction, even including, I feel like James Charles, like him and James Charles are really good friends. James Charles was like, bring him into the group, we love him, whatever. And then Griffin was already dating Dixie. However, a lot of fans were like, yo, Noah, like the fans are saying you should date Charlie because Griffin's dating Dixie. And Noah was like, oh, like really? Like he was like, okay, that's kind of weird. And then all of a sudden, I don't know, this whole breakup cheating scandal happened. And then Noah and Dixie, not Charlie, but Dixie, obviously, I would say they got together fairly quick post breakup. And I think, you know, in Dixie's mind, she's like, I could do whatever I want because I just got cheated on, rightfully so. I don't think anything was taken out of context for Griffin at all. But yeah, I mean, because of all of that and the timeline, I do feel like there was definitely something going on. Maybe it was just flirtation. Maybe it was like, you know, when you like see someone, you're like, okay, that felt like we had like something happened there when we said,
yeah,
you know what I mean? So I feel like that could have happened. And look, when you're dating someone, like, you don't like make things up about what you feel like in your gut or whatever. Like maybe Griffin was like, okay, that's weird. Like they're extra friendly, or she's wearing his sweatshirt, even though he's my girlfriend, or, you know, like to me, I'd be like pissed about that too. So I completely agree, Gabi. I think maybe there was something going on. I don't think Dixie necessarily cheated on Noah. Like, I don't think she would go that far. I just get the vibe that like her and her sister and her family are just really good people and know right from wrong. But I do think that maybe there was some flirtation going on, and Griffin was like, okay, let me get this one thing straight. I didn't just cheat out of her out of the blue, you know?
Or even not flirtation, like what you were saying earlier, Jana, like it could have just been attention, you know, like not to justify cheating. Cheating's always wrong, but a lot of times, like people will say, you know, it takes two to cheat, in the sense that even though Griffin is the one who actually on paper cheated, that he was, you know, stepped out because Dixie perhaps wasn't giving him the attention that he was looking for, and perhaps Dixie was giving that attention to Noah, even if it was just as besties and not as anything more of that. So that could be perhaps why Griffin is sad about it. And then also, you know, Griffin and Noah have just started to like be chill with each other. There was a very long period when Dixie first started hanging out with Noah that we didn't see any pictures or evidence of Noah and Griffin hanging out together. And they only hang out with the rest of the Sway Boys. And I do think it's kind of like a work thing. I don't think you would ever see Noah and Griffin like hanging out on their own. I think that if anything, Griffin and Noah perhaps are overcompensating to prove to people that they're chill when perhaps they're really not, because of all the drama.
Yeah, I mean, they probably don't want to like go out to Boa's Steakhouse and be asked that question every single time by the paparazzi. You know what I mean? Because the more they hang out, the more the internet says, hey, oh, they're like chill. Why are we even going to ask that? They've been hanging out together. You know what I mean? Right. So you're right. I feel like now these kids are like, holy crap. Like we are under such a big microscope now that, you know, let's make everything look as peaceful as possible. But I will say, if anyone is to clap back, girl wise and guy wise, it is Dixie and it is Griffin. Like Griffin gave 0 Fs after the cheating. He never came out with some big apology. You know what I mean? He never felt like he had to, it seemed. And then Dixie, obviously, we all know she's like the queen of clapbacks. So I don't know, you guys. It's kind of wild, kind of crazy. But either way, before we move on, I want to say this diss track is pretty fire. Like, I was like, honestly, like this is good.
It is. I'm surprised it doesn't have more views. I mean, there's actually more views on Griffin's diss track on the clips that are on TikTok Room than they are on his YouTube page. As we report this, he has about a little under 400,000 views on the diss track, whereas, I mean, Dixie's music video, obviously not to compare, but I mean, she's in the millions for that and growing. So I think that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Well, speaking of Griffin and Noah, so as we said earlier, Griffin even dissed Noah Beck in this new song. Since Dixie and Noah have been hanging out together a lot, it's been a beat since fans have seen Noah and Griffin hang out together, until obviously this just in today that they were working out. I'm sorry, I was going to read that anyways. Okay. Until recently, when these two were spotted working out with the Sway Boys, and Griffin even shared a shot of Noah in his Instagram stories, which Noah then did repost. But that didn't stop Griffin from calling out Noah in his new song with the lyrics, "You don't think I know but I know a little bit." Griffin goes on to call Noah a git, which is a completely ignorant, childish person with no manners. He also called out Dixie and Noah's relationship by singing, "You said you're just friends, but you're wearing his clothes." So we kind of all just like went over that in our previous little banter there. But just to kind of touch on this more, I mean, how would you feel if you were Noah and then you see someone who called you a git? I'd probably be like, I don't know how he was around him, you know?
Yeah. I would
and
like,
also, video is a lyric video, so you can actually see. It's not like you misheard. Like, there's the lyric right there. I mean, I didn't know what the word git meant at first, but I obviously Googled it, and it's apparently like, I mean, it goes back forever, but it's also an Urban Dictionary slang about someone who is just a joke, basically. He's calling Noah a joke. So
I think that's kind of an insecure move on Griffin's part. Like, I don't think he needed to go that far. Like, clearly Noah's not a joke. And he's also very kind, you know? Like, he's just so respectful to the paparazzi. I feel like he has these big goals. You know, he wants to be an actor. He, anytime I've just seen him, even in the background of people's, like, content or lives, I'm like, he just seems like he's, like, so unproblematic. you know? And I feel like if anyone is to apologize, I think we're going to see an apology from Noah and he in no way, in my opinion, doesn't really owe Griffin anything. I feel like he moved here and he like met him as a friend, but they were never super close. You know, that's the other thing. I don't know. That's kind of my hot take on that friendship.
Yeah, I feel like it might just kind of also be like awkward between them. Like I wonder how that conversation went between them, because clearly Noah's seen it. I don't know. Like I just wonder how that you just insulted me in front of like your following. I don't know. Like that's just weird to me. I don't know.
But then at the other sense, it could also be like if Noah and Griffin have been spending time together, and I mean, they were just spotted working out together today. It could be all in like good fun. You know what I mean? Like Noah could also be in on it. Noah could also be aware that Griffin was doing this. I do feel like if there was shade thrown in the song, it's more at Dixie. Dixie really seemed to take offense to this. I think also the fact that it was timing and that he released it at the same time that Dixie's having this big moment with her music video remix. I think really Dixie is the one who really gets the shade here. And I feel like, I mean, who knows, maybe gets a word that they call each other at the Sway House as like a joke, you know what I mean? Like, so it could be that he's called that to Noah before, but I mean, there is more proof that Dixie really has a lot to be upset about in this song, I think, personally.
Yeah, it definitely sucks that she's more so like the butt end of it, just because, again, you know, he didn't really like, he said a lot, but he said nothing, you know. If he would have like come out with receipts and done like, okay, like this is the timeline of like what she did to me, then that's different. But I feel like you're just kind of stirring the pot when like nothing was really brewing to begin with, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know, Griffin spills some more tea in his song. Apparently, he's claiming that Dixie and him are still texting while she's been hanging out with Noah by singing "You Text Me Even When I'm Writing the Song." And apparently, according to this track, Dixie has also congratulated Griffin for hitting 1 million subscribers on his YouTube page where the song currently lives. So you guys can check out the full song on Griffin's YouTube page. And then Griffin's saying that he is not interested in Dixie anymore by singing, quote, "But if I'm being honest, I want you gone." He then called her out for airing their dirty laundry, saying that people know the story, but they don't know the history. As he said, Dixie said he loved him and then ghosted him. And then Griffin unfollowed Dixie on Instagram, but he still follows Noah back. And Dixie has not unfollowed Griffin yet as we report this. Griffin also tweeted after his track dropped, quote, "My conscience drives me, not social media comments. Cheaters cheat, lovers love. I'm a lover." So, that definitely adds a whole new layer to the story for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like, okay, here's my thing. It's like, you are a cheater though. You asked some girl to come to LA when you're full blown dating Dixie D'Amelio. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you cheated. I would have enjoyed this. I did enjoy this diss track. I have to say, give him props. It was good. I'm glad we got to hear like his side of things. But at the same time, like, take responsibility for what you did. Like, don't call yourself not a cheater, because that is emotionally cheating on someone, whether or not you physically did it. And that's almost worse sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, emotionally, like, messing with someone like that. Like, I'm just so over these guys, like, not taking accountability for their actions. Like, it happens in my personal life and it's happening for these TikTok kids. And I'm just like, I'm not gonna, you know, I think we need to take accountability for our mistakes and like not cancel people, but definitely learn from them and like take responsibility for them. So I hated that lyric so much. Like, it really bothered me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like calling out is definitely key here. I think Griffin has been called out a lot. And a lot of times when public figures are called out, they do make some form of apology. And instead it feels like Griffin is using the space where he should be apologizing for just getting more attention. And I know we are getting him more attention by reporting on this, but of course we always want to give you the latest tea when it comes to what's going on with who and TikTok. And this definitely seems to be a big story right now. But yeah, it feels like Griffin has, I mean, this is the second time where Griffin has teased an apology and instead did not apologize. And I do think with the whole lyric about, you know the story, but you don't know the history, I think that implies that perhaps, yes, he did cheat, but maybe in the timeline of their dating, more drama went down, which is not being shown to the public, and we're only focusing on the cheating, which we don't know, who knows, that maybe they were not officially a couple when he cheated. Like, that's a possibility too, because we know a lot of the times when these couples say they're dating, sometimes it's for clout, sometimes they do it just to kind of get attention, or sometimes, you know, they say they're dating and in reality they're actually just friends, or, you know, we don't really know the full story as the audience. But I definitely think, you know, someone said this and I definitely have to agree with this. The best teen drama that is happening right now is happening on TikTok, and it's on your phones. And this is a story that's unfolding on today's episode of what is happening in the TikTok world.
It's so true. It's wild. And we all like, you know, like I feel like TikTok's like one of the most, it's one of the most popular apps right now, if not the most popular. And that's why we're all so invested in this. You know what I mean? Also, I'd like to point out, I see a lot of comments all the time that are like, wow, they're so invested in these teenagers. Well, this is what's happening. Like you just said, Gabi, like this is the number one thing that's happening right now. And we are a pop culture entertainment news, you know, show. So we're going to give you the tea right here on the Hollywire Tea Party every day. So
yeah, it's what we do. It's what you guys want. It's what you've been asking for. And we feel the need to just keep you updated about what's going on. I mean, it's almost like if we were to give you TV recaps of what happened on Riverdale last night, but you know, especially now with no new scripted shows coming out soon, I think that's also why people are caring so much about this and so invested in this world of TikTokers and what they're doing. TikTok is not just about the dances. It's about the characters behind it and the drama behind it, which is why I think people are invested.
That's such a good point. And like the D'Amelios themselves, I think the Sway Boys and the D'Amelios are really just, and Addison Rae, like Cosmo just did this awesome article about how they're rewriting the rules of fame, and they are. And this is why, again, like we're just so, you know, paparazzi's everywhere they are. Like we want to know what's going on in the relationships. And like, you know, I do think relationships in pop culture are really what keep the entertainment world going round. So it's just something we can all relate to. You know, we've all been maybe Griffin Johnson or Dixie D'Amelio or even Noah Beck in this love triangle. So I'm excited to see what happens next. I hope we get some kind of response maybe from this. That would be really interesting. But yeah, I just, you know, I am happy that Griffin got to say what he needed to say. I feel like everyone deserves that. So yeah, it's my hot take.
Absolutely. Well, guys, we want to know what you think about Griffin's diss track. Do you believe there is more than one side to this story? Let us know what your takes are on that. I'm Gabi Conti.
I'm Kaylana Lari.
I'm Jana Rosenberg, and keep it right here on Hollywire every day for all of your tea. See you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.